Hey, welcome back to the channel. Look at this copper. Man, I love copper. This copper right here would look just like this copper right there on that barlow, but it's all tarnished. It's even kind of getting some greens on it, some teeners. I love copper. We're mainly going to talk about this knife here today. Really nice looking copper barlow from Ryder. And but as we look at this, we're going to talk about copper a little bit in its various forms, how you may find it in these type of knives, and also, is this really copper? So we'll talk about that in the upcoming video. Hope to see you there.
Right? They know me, right?
They do.
Because you
look at everybody's at different heights here. We're up, we're down. Whoop! Almost lost the phone. Pretty cool. All right, welcome back to the Fortified Castle. Today we are talking about this knife right here, the copper barlow from Ryder. I can't remember what that series called. Man, that's just poor of me, isn't it, as a knife reviewer? Should have looked at that, but I didn't. Maybe I'll put it in later in the editing. And as we talk about this, we're going to talk about copper a little bit. I love copper. Maybe you love copper. And maybe we can learn a few things about it. The first thing we need to learn is hi to all my viewers and how much I appreciate my viewers. Because it's an awful lot. I really am thankful for all the likes, the comments, and the shares that you put in my videos. It really helps the channel out. And let's talk about this barlow first. Okay, so what you have here is pretty much your standard barlow. It's 3 3/8 inches long. It is a two-bladed barlow. It is unusual though. It's got copper bolsters, a copper shield. The pins are copper and the liners are copper, and that is kind of unusual. A lot of times when you see copper knives, there's a copper bolster, maybe a copper shield, but the pins will still be nickel silver and the liners brass. But you can see here it's all copper. So this is a copper lover's barlow. And then it's kind of unusual because, well, let's talk about the scales. So the scales are genuine bone, a brown saw cut bone. Looks good. Looks good. Look at that. I love that texture in the bone right there. I'm not really sure that's supposed to be there. I don't know whether traditionally they hone that out of the bone. I'm not really sure, but I like it. I like it. And there is a little bobble here. That's from lack of coloring in that area for whatever reason. But I just think it looks tremendous. Look at that shield. Come on, snap in. It says rough and ready with the Rough Ryder up above. I like it. And then you've got the pin blade up front, so you can access that quickly with a cat hair in it. I have not skinned my cat. I don't know how the hair got in there on us. You can see, let's see, there it is. So you got a pretty nice edge on there. pretty consistent, and then it flares out here at the end. And if you turn it on the other side, there, come on, you can see it's pretty consistent. It's about the same consistency and width, so that's going to be a really good edge. And then it flares out there. You've got this black, I believe it's powder coated blade. One thing about this is, like, every time I wipe that off, it's chalky. So I'm not, come on, snap in. I'm not really sure why that is on there, but I like it. It goes good with the copper. You can see the tank stamp, Rough Rider tank stamp. Listen to the walk and talk. There you go. Transitions, pretty nice. Man, that's just really good. That blade is right up on there. And then the back spring is rounded over just like it should be. Got a little swedge on both sides. Matchstick nail nick. And in the back one, you can see the first blade is kind of hiding the tang. There's some space in there. Even though, I don't have a lot of nail there, I didn't have any trouble accessing that. Yeah, let's see, there's your edge. Pretty nice looking edge on there. And then it flares out on the end, just like the other one. And there you can see that one. Pretty close to the same width. And it doesn't flare quite as much right there on this side. Pretty good edge. Let's see, let's listen to walk and talk. Oh, come on. Got your Ryder start, 440 steel. Your model number, RR2039. Look inside there. Really clean looking inside too. Let's pop that open. Look at that. Really nice. There is ever so much of a little bit, come on, ever so much of a little bit of light coming through right here. I would say no gapping in it, but you can see right there, a little bobble, and a little tiny bit of light comes through there. Pretty good job on this knife. Man, I like that. So you can see I've got an assortment of copper up here. That's a Kershaw. This is an Artisan Cutlery. This is an Olight right here. This is gunmetal. And so if you look at that, I don't know whether you can tell it, but there's a reddish tint to that. This is brass. If you put the brass up there, you can see the red tint. It comes out more if you put the brass up to it. But if you were to put this up to the copper, it doesn't look like copper. So it's just a very slight tint on this knife right here. But this is where it comes from. This is copper in its natural state. And often you find this green mineral in with copper. It's a sign when you see these rocks in the wild that often copper in them, and you can see how that copper is just sparkled all through this natural copper in its environment. And copper is unusual. It is the only metal that you can extract from ore and you don't have to smelt it. And so you could start beating this and you can, that mineral will come out of there and you'll be left with just the copper. You keep beating it, and you can form like a medallion or whatever you want to form with it. And that's how originally, in the Copper Age, human beings started with these minerals. But it's highly unlikely that those knives are made out of copper. And the reason is copper is really malleable. It's soft, and it would be too soft to put into a knife like this. So these are probably gunmetal, and that is a copper alloy. It's also called red brass, and it's made up of 88% copper, 8 to 10% tin, and 2 to 4% of zinc. And that's how it gets its color. The more copper you have in an alloy, the more it's going to look this reddish copper color. And this is brass. Brass is 66% copper and 34% zinc. And so the difference between brass and bronze is bronze has tin in it instead of zinc. And so these are most likely gunmetal because copper is just too soft. Now, it doesn't mean that most of this is copper. In brass, 66% of the brass is copper. And so it has a very high content in brass also. The difference between brass and bronze, bronze is harder, it has more copper in it, and has tin and zinc in it. That makes it harder. And that's your lesson in metallurgy today. This gunmetal was often used in penknives, very inexpensive back in the day, around the turn of the century in the 1800s, and it gave a look to the knife like rose gold, and so it was really popular. This stuff, gunmetal, was very popular in the early 1800s. The beautiful rose gold look on knives, and so that's probably what this is. It's probably gunmetal. You can go higher in those percentages and mix them up and go lower. So you could lower the tin content a little bit, and this in the copper would appear redder, or you could add a little bit of copper. I've heard as high as 92% in gunmetal, which gives it a much rosier look. But you can see this is copper in its natural state right here. Let me get a good piece here, right there. So you can see, looks pretty close. Looks pretty close to the natural copper. All right, that is my review of this. This is a nice knife. This is a really nice knife. Forgot how much this cost. Wasn't expensive. I'm thinking around $10 I paid for that, actually. May have been more, maybe been 12, maybe. I don't know. I can't remember. Anyhow, thanks for checking out the video. Really appreciate you all. And I'll see you in the next one.